Hello and welcome to the Damn Good Podcast. This show is going to take you for a ride. We're going to go through what's going on in my life while it happens. We're going to talk about mindset, fitness, business, strategy, and tactics. Big question, what do I need to do today to get better tomorrow? Hey, I'm Dillon Mitchell, and this is a Damn Good Podcast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Damn Good Podcast. Guys, today we're going to talk about change. And change in a number of different ways. But again, hey, if you like the show, if you get something out of all these episodes, if you're improving your life, if you're feeling a little happier, a little better, and you're improving on a daily basis because of these videos, guys, share them out. Whatever one that really resonates with you, share out to your friends. Tell a friend in a conversation, right? If you're having a conversation with your friends about, hey, how do you get better? How do you improve? Give us a recommend if you like it. Right? If you like it, give us a recommendation, leave us a review, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of great stuff. You guys know what to do. And thank you for listening. But let's get into today's episode as we're going to talk about change. So one of the things in change can be kind of hard and change can be maybe a little difficult. Today, I want to tell a little story that I actually just read. And it was about an Eskimo that had the opportunity to go to little drink of coffee there, had the opportunity to go to New York City and experience New York City, right? He was like the first guy to leave his tribe and, travel to New York City. And this was like early 1900s, but it's still at the time, New York City's electrified. There's steel buildings, there are big skyscrapers versus the little huts and stuff that the Eskimos were living in. And because of that, right, so he experienced these big skyscrapers, all the lights, all the noise, all the sounds, all the beauty that a city has. But it's completely different from that of the Eskimos. Completely different. Right? They're in nighttime, they're in like the Arctic Circle most of the time, and then like 24 hours of daylight. So completely different worlds. And when he traveled back, he told the story, right? Like you would do, you're pumped up, you saw all this cool stuff. And when he got back, told the story of all these magnificent buildings that blotted out the sky, that reached to the sky, the lights that shone at night, and all the sounds and sights and like everything that New York City held, right? Even today, New York City is still a magnificent place. But then, even 100 years ago, New York City was still bigger and had more than most other places in the country, let alone, the Arctic Circle. So when he told this story, they didn't believe him. And for the rest of his life, he was labeled a liar. It's a tough break because in his heart, he knew it was true. He knew that he wasn't lying. He was excited to share. So years later, after he died and, became kind of an Indian, an Eskimo legend about this guy, story that passed down, don't lie. Another Eskimo went to New York City and saw, everything. And he was like, oh, the guy wasn't lying. But instead of coming back and telling, the tribe the truth that this guy wasn't lying and I saw it, he opted for another route. That route was to say that he went up and down the Hudson and hunted seal and had a great time fishing and everything that Eskimos were familiar with, right? Fishing, being in a canoe, going down the river, seals, all that kind of stuff, right? Very not crazy, very similar to what they've experienced. And the reason I tell this story is because change is hard. See, we don't want to believe it. We don't want to accept change in our own lives, and especially when it comes to ourselves, right? The things that we might be deficient at or that somebody might give us some criticism for. We don't want to be a part of that, and we're adverse to it. But whatever the circumstances of your life are, if you want to be better, if you want to improve, if you want change in your life, again, whether it's a better car, a better house, a better spouse, whatever it might be, a different outlook on life, wherever you are and whatever you would like to change, none of that change happens without change, right? You have to change what you do, how you think, how you feel. You can't be depressed and super successful. Like, it's not gonna work out, right? You need to be happy. You need to be enthusiastic. You need to sell people on your ideas. And through a lot of this, and what I'm learning now is, and I'm making some rapid changes in my life and how I approach a lot of things, is you can't change if you don't change. I know it's a super simple concept, but most of you won't change. You won't do anything different. Your routine won't be any different. How you approach the day won't be any different. What you do in a day isn't going to be any different. And most importantly, how you think is not going to be different. So if you want to change, if you want to actually have an impact, you've got to, one, tell the truth and be honest, right? But truth saying can be a rocky road, right? Galileo had many problems in his Starry Night, his round sky, round earth deal versus flat earth. And many other truth tellers through history have had a rocky go. But ultimately they were right. And it takes that momentum, that inertia, that buildup of minds to actually have an impact on what change is. But you have to be that first stone, that first voice, that first person to push the ball down the hill. So guys, if you want to change, you have to change. It is really that simple, but it's not that easy. You've got to push, you've got to grow, and you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. It's really that simple. I hate to keep saying that, but it is. It's that simple. You have to change if you want to change. Change your mindset first. That might be the hardest. And then change what you do. Or change what you do, and that will change your mindset. If you start drinking more water, if you start exercising more often, you'll see that you're capable of so much more. And that is truly a big deal. To be capable of so much more on all through your actions, you're going to show it to yourself, you will believe it, and then you will create the change that you want to see in the world. And that is the biggest thing, guys. Create the change that you want to see in the world. It's going to be fantastic, right? But you need to do it with complete belief, complete enthusiasm, and continue to march forward. So that's today's episode of the Damn Good Podcast. I thank you guys so much for listening, for subscribing, and for being loyal to the show. Again, if you like it, if you find somebody else that is of like mindset that you can share this with, please do, guys. And we'll see you right back here tomorrow.